we were talking about electronic spreadsheets, and in the reading book we completed number tools on page 26. So today we are going to look at page 27, starting with symbols used in spreadsheet formula. Okay, so there are 5 symbols listed, and the equal sign is used before a formula or a function. So this is going to be one of the most highly used symbols you will come across in a spreadsheet, because whatever that you're going to do, you would almost always need to use this symbol. Then we have add, subtract, multiply and divide. So let's quickly see how we have to go and use this, right? So now let's say in a calculator, if you want to plus uh, two values, say I want to plus 4 plus 6, and I hit enter. In an Excel sheet nothing happens, but in a calculator if you do the same thing, you would get the result. I'm sorry about the background noise, there's some construction work going on. Now just ignore these entries for the moment, and I'm going to say equal 4 plus 6. See, you get the calculated amount. 4 plus 6 is 10, but here you will see that the formula or the calculation that you entered is shown like that. Now let's say multiply. We use the asterisk, and when you hit enter it gives you the value. 4 times 6 is 24. Let's say 44 divided by 6, and you get the value there. Now sometimes the cell you can't see all the decimal places, so what you have to do is you have to go to the edge of the column, and when you go to the edge of the column and the icon changes with 2 arrows on in either direction, you double click and the cell expands to the maximum width in order to show you all the content. So let's do one subtraction also. 44 minus 6 is 38. So it's very simple. What you have to do is you have to just take a little bit of time, open a spreadsheet, whatever you have. You have Google Sheets, Microsoft Excel, whatever you have, open it and you'll be able to figure this out. Then we go to functions. Functions are there are 4 functions listed: sum, average, max, minimum. These are not the only functions that you come across, but let's start with sum. To find the total of a range of cells, you use sum. So now let's say I have this range of cells. I want to get the total sum of it. So here, this is the icon for AutoSum. Now if I drop that down, it shows the same icon for sum. So you can take that as the icon for sum, and I click sum, and in the next cell the total value appears. So this is, if you highlight it, it shows equals sum, and within brackets the cell range, that's C2, from C2 colon up to C8. That's how you give a cell range in Excel. So when you do that, you get the total of that. I'll just leave that for the time being, and then we go to average. To find the average of a cell range, you use the function average. So here I'm going to delete that function and say average, and just like that, for that cell range I get the average. You can see average. I typed it in simple, but it converted into all capitals. Next we go to find the highest value in a cell range, max, and to find the lowest value in a cell range, minimum. Okay, so now you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to say max. So the highest value in this cell range is 8500. That's right. Then I go to find the lowest value in the cell range, which should be 2500, and just like that I get the value. Okay, so then in the last item on this page is charts. Can be used to display spreadsheet date graphically. I'm sorry. Can be used to display spreadsheet data. That should be data graphically. Can also display the date, but who's going to do a chart about dates? So we have column graph, and this is line graph, pie charts, bar charts, area charts, scatter charts, and other charts. Now you can see all of these have a drop down icon. I'll explain what that is about. Now when you go into your spreadsheet, now I'm using the online Office 365 Excel spreadsheet. Now here you don't see in the main menu, you don't see anything called charts. So that's because charts are included in the insert ribbon. Now let's this information which I entered earlier, this is the dates of the week, and something what I wanted to show you there is, now let's say I put Sunday here, and I come to this fill handle and I drag it down. You see what happened? Just by typing Sunday and dragging the cell range down, I got the remaining days of the week. Now if I continue down, it will repeat those days. So that's something you should remember. Same with months. Now I'll put January and I'll drag it down a little bit. See how the months appear. Now let's say I put 1. If I drag that down, it doesn't identify that I am doing a sequence. But what happens if I say 1 and 2 and then I start dragging this down? You get the numbers in sequential order. You get the numbers in order, so just keep that in mind. So I go back to this chart creation, and we are going to make a chart now. And remember what I told you about the arrows. Now in my spreadsheet I don't have individual arrows under each chart button. I have one insert chart drop down list. So when I drop down that list, I have three types of columns and six types of line charts, and so there are multiple types of charts to be found. For this example, what I'm going to do is going to use the clustered column. This column will give me a chart like this. Now once you create the chart, you can edit the chart title using the edit button. You can edit the chart axis titles. The axes are like X and Y. You can edit the legend, and you can even create axes to be on different sides, show with labeling, show without labeling, things like that. So now this is a simple chart. If I go to change the chart title, I don't like the centered overlay title, because then the chart title comes inside the chart itself, so that sort of makes it a bit too how should I say it, it's all very compacted. It's not very clear, but some people like to use this. What I like to do is I like to have the chart title above the chart itself, so then it's clearer for me. Edit chart title. So here I'm going to edit the chart title to say weekly units. No, I'll say daily sales, and within brackets units, and just like that I got the chart title. Now there's axis titles. So axis titles, now the horizontal title I'm going to say day of the week, and like that the horizontal chart title appeared. Then the vertical chart title, I'm going to say number of units. See, when that happens within the cage that was automatically created, everything gets wrapped up inside it. Now you can even make this, resize this as you want to. I'm going to keep the original size. So you can copy this just like this and then paste it onto an Excel sheet, a Word document or a PowerPoint presentation, or even a web page, as long as it's supported. So always remember to save. Now like I told you earlier, I don't have the save option because this saves everything automatically. So that's the chart. Now let's say let me delete this. Now let's say I wanted to add a second week. So I have week 1, I have week 2. I'm going to just enter some random numbers. I'm going to create the chart again. See, like series 1 is week 1, series 2 is week 2. And you can format those as well. You can change the name, you can change the fill color, you can change the outline. So take time to go through this, create a small chart if you like to, and then see how everything turns out. Now as we move on to page 28, it says to refer to workbook for activities from 2.1 to 2.10. So that's quite a number of activities. So let's go into that and see what we can do. This is the first time that we're looking at the workbook with regard to electronic spreadsheets. So the first item is open a spreadsheet software installed in your computer. Get to know a few tools in the graphical user interface. So okay, so this is the graphical user interface in your worksheet. If we go to a fresh sheet, let's we have the menu bar, text formatting tools, alignment and positioning. So we have the menu bar, we have the text formatting tools, we have the alignment, and within under various menu items we have various ribbons giving us what tools that we can use. The image in the workbook shows the program, Excel program on a PC. Now if you compare the same Excel program which is provided online, you can see that it's more compacted, meaning like additional borders, for example, the additional options are in a drop down list. But if you go into the image, it's also the same. Now if we look at alignment, most of the items are in the drop down. Formatting, so there might be small changes. You don't need to worry about that because these have been changing over time. In the old days they didn't have ribbons, we had strips. So we go into the menu and we add strips of tools, and we can place them in the top or the bottom of the worksheet, like how we used to, or we could have them float around. But the program has evolved, it has changed, so that they're giving us a ribbon now. It will change in future too. So 5 years from now, Excel from Microsoft might be different to what we have today. And then we have the sheets. These are the sheets that we have. Let's move on to the next one. Activity 2.1. I'm going to go through the activities here with you, so it may take a little time. Feel free to go back or move forwards on the video and check on whichever part or the complete lesson as you feel it's best for you. So let's work on a spreadsheet. When a spreadsheet software is opened, a worksheet appears. To open a new worksheet, click on New Sheet. So we go to File and let's say we open a new workbook. So we go to a new workbook titled like this, book.xlsx. To open a new sheet, click on the new sheet. Now you can see there's only one sheet here, and when I highlight the plus button next to the sheet, it says new sheet, so I click that. See, it opens up a new sheet. Now here's something interesting. If I click sheet 1 again and click the plus button, sheet 3 appears next to in between sheet 1 and sheet 2, so I can drag and drop it at the end. To give a different name for the worksheet, take mouse to sheet 1 and right click on it, select rename. So we are going to rename. Sheet 2, we are going to click on it, right click, rename, and type the name and press enter. So they haven't given us a name. I'm going to say sales, and I'm going to hit OK and see the sheet named changed into sales. It was renamed into sales. To remove worksheet, right click on the name of the worksheet and select delete. So we right click on the sheet, delete, then it gives me a pop-up window saying you can't undo deleting sheets and you might be removing some data. If you still want to delete the sheet, okay, so yes, we don't have any data and nothing's going to get affected, so we delete that and we delete the next sheet also same way. So then we come to activity 2.2, enter data into a worksheet. The Children's Society decided to collect funds to purchase sports items for its students. They issued cards to fill boxes for the purpose. You know, in the back when I was little, we used to get small cards. Each had a set of squares, maybe 30, 40, 50 even. And what they have done is they have taken that example and they say that the details about the money collected during the weekend, money collected by each student, the balance after deducting rupees 50 as the printing cost, again typo, are entered to a worksheet. So what is entered? The money collected during the weekend, so I assume that's Saturday and Sunday. Money collected by each student, so students' names are there. The balance after deducting rupees 50, which is the printing cost, are in the worksheet. The worksheet is shown in the following page. Okay, so this is a nice colorful worksheet which they have given us. They have named it weekend collection. So what I did was I created the worksheet. And keyed in everything like this. I didn't add the colors in the same way, but it's still there. So what we're going to do is we'll finish the lesson after completing activity 2.2 today. So if you have a spreadsheet, copy this information into the worksheet at home. Do not type in the totals, do not type in the printing, do not type in the balance. So on sheet 1, type the titles as number, name, Saturday, Sunday, and other relevant information. So just copy these, change the name of the worksheet as weekend collection, and save the worksheet in your computer. So I have already done it. I have renamed the sheet as weekend collection, and it's in a Excel workbook tasks named file. I named it like that, but here they say name it as collection and save. Now how do we get the totals? See, when I deleted that, this part also changed into -50 because of that uh, formula there. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll quickly show you. We put the equal mark, and we now total is basically how much Sugat collected on Saturday and Sunday. So I highlight the first cell, say plus, and select the next cell and say, and click enter. So I get that. Then I fill up that cell range with the values. Now they say that the cost of the printing has to be deducted for the from the total. So what we are going to do is we're going to use the minus. So we are going to deduct 50 from 590 equals 590 minus 50. Hit enter. So that's correct, and this is what we get. So that is that. Try to do this at home, play around with it, see what happens. Instead of maybe putting minus here, try division, and just get used to working on a spreadsheet like this, and try to do the remaining exercises from 2.3 up to 2.10 if you can. And in the next lesson I'll continue from activity 2.3 and go through the steps for you to see. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, tell your classmates about the lessons if you like it, and stay safe. Bye for now.